Well, Phil, this stage it's just about getting results, isn't it?
Yeah, so true. You wonder at these stages when it comes to the end of the season and it's the business end. It's just about getting it over the line, as you just made reference to, and sometimes all the styles of play and all the intricate passing formations, etc., tactics, it probably just all goes to it all goes to pot, to tell you the truth, because at the end of the day it is just about getting it over the line, and we did literally just do that in the first half with an Ashley Hemmings goal. Wasn't a great goal, spilled over the line, if truth be known, and then when we got the second one with David Davis, which is probably one of the least expected players to get it out there, but that's the kind of football it was. It was like people were popping up in areas of the pitch where you least expected them to, and David Davis played a nice little intricate pass with Ashley Hemmings, I believe, and I thought he was actually going to pull back or square it, and he didn't. He just turned the power on and beat the goalkeeper for pace. So you go 2-0 up. I didn't start making substitutes for any other reason apart from we've got a big game on Monday, and the longer this game goes on and it stays 3 points in us in the league, that game becomes more important. As it stands, we managed to get over the line, but when they scored the goal, it put a little bit of an Aram Scarum feel to the whole proceedings, if truth be known, and I didn't like it. And I've just said that to the players in there. It wasn't our best performance by any stretch of the imagination. It wasn't a great game of football, again, by any stretch of the imagination. Yet the surface was conducive to that. But I've just spoke to Macca about probably their players sometimes when you've got nothing to lose and maybe you're just unsure for 90 minutes to play for a contract. You should have been doing that all year, if truth be known. That's what our lads have been doing. But to just turn it on for one game can upset the odds a wee bit, and that's what happened. What happened when we went 2-0 up, they had nothing to lose at all, and through caution of the wind, went a little bit gung-ho to a certain extent. But then we put the subs on and got it over the line, and hopefully everybody's okay for Monday after not a grueling game, but it was certainly a game where people could have come out injured.
I bet if I'd have spoken to you at the beginning of August and said, with 2 games to go, you're top of the table, and if you win those 2 games you go up, you'd have taken that?
Absolutely, I think most managers would, and it's one of them where how have we got there? We've been there before on a couple of occasions, but how we've got there is just a level of consistency that's above and beyond anybody else in the division for about probably now 12-13 games after a couple of really bad results. Marine away really sticks in my thorn in my side, and then coupled with Spennymoor at home, and it looked as if our season was coming to a grind and a halt. It was coming to an end, and I'm not that kind of guy. I refuse to accept that, especially with the amount of points still to play for. But what the players have done is nothing short of brilliant. And again, it comes down to a couple of new signings coming in, changing the atmosphere in the change room to a certain extent. All of these things are part and parcel of a decent campaign so far. But the team I'm putting out there, week in and week out, I'm quite proud of. I'm quite happy with. If we can manage to do that for another 2 90 minutes, and if we can do that successfully for 2 90 minutes, it'll be our league.
It couldn't come much tougher than Monday against Hereford, in form, 1-3-0 today. And local derby as well. Big crowd.
Yes, it's the kind of thing or game or spectacle, whatever, what all supporters want to see. It's the kind of game that you want to play in. It's the kind of game that you want to manage in. I'm really looking forward to it. I wanted to win today just to make sure that I want to see our group of players, and I've seen them in numerous situations this season, and I've seen them survive them to a certain extent. Nearly went under on one occasion, maybe 2, but in the main I would have said we've survived whatever's been thrown at us, and that's including any kind of internal wrangles or criticism that we see from our supporters. But you've got to put up with that. That's what you are. You're paid to do that. You're paid to play football and try and win games of football, and at Agborough of all places. Now I think this is a big test for everybody. I don't think it's just a big test for the players. It's a big test for me, for Neil MacDonald, for the supporters, for to see how much they can get behind us. Because I tell you what, if they're loud and they're bouncing off the rafters, we'll be playing that kind of football, because we'll not just entertain them, we'll win the game.
And just finally, I know it's only 15 minutes after the end of the game, but does it look as though everyone's come through unscathed?
looking that way. It's difficult to assess it straight away after a game because a lot of adrenaline being flowing through the body. The blood's certainly pumping, that's for sure, but quite a few of them are in there. Yeah, there'll be bumps and bruises, but that's to be expected. There's one or two internal things that I need to keep in-house, but people are playing on, some of them are playing on sheer passion, you know, as opposed to being fit enough to play. And I love that, me. I love the fact that they get through 90 minutes of football on just, I want to play, I want to be out there, I want to win this game of football for Kidderminster Harriers, for themselves first and foremost, but for Kiddy. And I think with that kind of passion and commitment, I'm a happy man going into the last 2 games. I'll take whatever comes. I know it's going to be a tough old ask against Hereford, and they probably got a score to settle because they were hurting after the 3-0 defeat. But we know if we're on our A game, that 3-0 defeat was earned, it was merited, and we deserved it. And if we bring that A game to the party, it'll be another one.
Just another couple of words on Monday. There's obviously a slight tweak in mentality now. You've talked about the thrill of the chase, if you like, and having to chase down Scunthorpe, so to speak, to get into pole position. Monday's game obviously now reverses that, and there's that kind of pressure on. I guess you're looking forward to seeing how the lads handle that.
I don't think we need to build it up as a title contender or a promotion campaign. I think this is just the best derby of the season. This is the biggest game of the season because it's the next one. I've said that many a time to you, Matty. So if it's the biggest game, then we've got to prepare for that mentally and physically. You know, they'll have a nice day's rest tomorrow. They'll do the warm down protocol. We'll come in on Sunday. It's an Easter period. It's a bank holiday weekend for everybody. We'll be at work on Sunday preparing for Monday because we want to make that a spectacle. We want to make everybody in Kidderminster proud of us. We want to send everybody in Kidderminster who come to the game, we want to send them home happy. And the only way to do that is win the game. Whatever we take, where the other 2 teams are concerned, doesn't matter. It's what we do on Monday. And that's how we've been winning games, Matty. We've just been concentrating and focused on Kidderminster Harriers and what we can do.
And there was some real consternation in some parts when the decision was made to reverse from having 2 Hereford games or 2 Derby games over Christmas to moving one of them to this stage of the season. It couldn't have fallen nicer in terms of a spectacle in that regard.
It happens for a reason for me. Whatever that reason is, we'll find out on Monday. Come 20 to 5. As they used to say, it's more like 5 o'clock these days with VAR. We haven't got it at this level, but it's still taking 6 or 7 minutes after half time and full time. But it's when it comes 5 o'clock on Monday, we'll know what our fate is probably, and we'll know what we need to do in the last game of the season.
Last word for the fans today, probably over 1,000. I would have
Brilliant.
thought inside the ground. They were a little bit edgy at times, as everything was, but they enjoyed their day.
I think if there was 1,000 here, there's probably less than 1% were trying to get on the pitch and boisterous and throwing beer and stuff like all that kind of rubbish. But I bumped into them, true story, Matty. I'm getting off the train this morning, 10:05, Macca's picking me up, and I bumped into, must have been 100 of them getting on the same actual platform as me, but also the same train and the same doorway. And as soon as they saw me, it was like, what's he doing coming off the train? But every one of them had a can of beer in their hands, so they were going to be in for a party regardless of what happened today. But I'm glad we put some icing on the cake with the result, not the performance, but with the result. And hopefully they've gone home happy and conduct themselves well on at the weekend, and we'll see them Monday.